Hey friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie Alves, and today we're going to be talking about proper concealer application, but it is going to be a deep dive. You're going to love this. We're going to talk about a couple different formulas of concealer, some liquid, some different creams. We're going to talk about ways to apply it, brushes, fingers, primers, all kinds of things that go with that concealer application to make sure you get that flawless, beautiful coverage that I know you've been hunting for, because if you're anything like me, you have been in the game for a minute and you know when a concealer is about to go horribly wrong. So stick with me, my friends. I'm going to show you some great tips and tricks, and I know you're going to have a lot of fun. So meet me on the flip side. All right, you guys, so in getting that perfect concealer application, I wanted to show you quickly from the beginning. We're going to do some primer, foundation, and then I go into powder, blush and contour, a lot of things like that, but I don't do that concealer until later. I do it actually after eyeshadow. So I just wanted to touch on that point so you don't think that we need to get in the very beginning and start blobbing our concealer around. So take it easy, follow my step-by-step method, and it's really going to help you get that perfect concealer application. So let's get it. I'm going to get in with just a little bit of primer first, then I'm going to skip forward and we're going to get into some concealer. But first, I'm going to use a water-based primer. Now that one is a really good, obviously spray-on primer, pretty different, but that's by my friends over at Lime Life, and I really like that primer. It's called First Base, but I like that it's really lightweight and it goes so well with so many different foundations. So a little bit of primer first. I'm going to start with a cream foundation, but it's okay if you like liquid, or if you're even going to use a BB cream or a tinted moisturizer, that's okay. We're still going to wait till later to do the concealer, and I'm going to show you a couple of different kinds. So trust me, we're going to find your kind, we're going to find your formula, and we're going to find the perfect application for you. So stick around. I'm going to put on some foundation and I'll see you in just a minute. All right, I'm almost done with my foundation application, and you can see I'm using my favorite cream, but I've got it on the back of my hand. Now I wanted to touch on this because if I take it straight out of that compact with the same brush all the time, sometimes I notice I wind up getting like some lint and stuff in there. So I've started just actually scraping it out, putting it on the back of my hand, just like I do with my clients, because I'm finding it keeps my product cleaner that way. And you know, of course, then it looks much better on your face because it doesn't look like you got a bunch of dirt in your concealer and in your foundation. It's kind of important. So, you know, just a little PSA right there for you. But one thing I wanted to show you is I do get my foundation on my upper eyelids because I don't like to put concealer there. It's okay if you do, but I prefer just using my foundation. Now I'm working it up into my hairline, and now I don't have really any foundation left on this brush. It's pretty dry. I've been buffing around on my face, and now I'm just buffing under my eyes, really just to make sure there's not a separation of product here. So I want you to see, I don't have any concealer and not a lot of foundation under my eyes at this point. Just making sure I get in the cracks of my nose and all that jazz, and finishing the outer perimeters. So that's a great foundation application to set you up for success with that concealer application. So let's move forward. Now just a really great translucent powder. Now I want to show you really quick. I am going on my eyelids just like I did my foundation because I want to set that in my nose, my cheeks, but I'm not getting powder underneath my eyes right now. Again, I'm just leaving that as bare as possible for later when I do my concealer. So, you know, it's just a building process, friends, and if you prefer to do it in a different order, that's really okay. I always say this is makeup artistry. There's an element of art, and your technique is your technique, because Van Gogh is not telling Monet how to paint, correct? So, and also welcome to the channel of No Rules. I'm showing you how I do things and how I teach my students here at my makeup academy, and really how I've been doing makeup for almost 34 years now. But I want you to be comfortable in what you do, the products you use, and the techniques that you love. But this building process is pretty helpful. So again, we did the primer, the foundation, everywhere except for under the eyes, and I even brought it down the neck, put a little on my chest. Then I put translucent powder on my whole face, but not under my eyes. This is super important in that concealer application. So I'm glad you're sticking around for this deep dive, because it's not just about slapping a bunch of stuff under our eyes and then wondering why it doesn't do what it's supposed to do and why it doesn't look the way we want it to. So paying a little bit of attention in the beginning is really gonna help. I'm gonna go ahead and contour, blush, and eyeshadow, and we're gonna move along. All right, I've got some good bronzer going on here, sort of a little bit of contour, and I wanted to show you the blush quickly because I'm just using a peach right now and just bringing it up in a little bit of a swoop up towards my nose, on the apples of my cheeks here, but darker towards the hairline, and then I fade toward the nose. The reason I wanted to show you this is because I am getting it up here where we're gonna put concealer later, but it's okay. I'm gonna show you a really simple trick to just get that concealer faded in, and then we back blend that blush just a little bit. So thinking about concealer when you put it on your blush, just get it up there nice and high. Don't even worry about it because that concealer is gonna mix in beautifully. All right, I'm gonna go back to a little bit of contouring and bronzing, and I'll be right back. Okay friends, I am right in the middle of eyeshadow, but I wanted to show you, I'm taking that dark brown eyeshadow that is in the crease, and I have a little tiny smudger brush, and that's what I'm using underneath. Now the reason I wanna show you this is because when you're thinking about concealer, you can bring it down and get it nice and smoky, because if you get a little too much, we can just like slice it and sharpen it up with that concealer. So, you know, don't be afraid to go to town under there. Try some new things. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye. Give me a minute. All right, I've got my brows darkened, beautiful eyeshadow done. Actually, was thanks to this beautiful Bare Necessities palette from my friends over at ColourPop. So if you're in the market for a beautiful new eyeshadow palette, I bet you already know that ColourPop is an amazing company. Love their products, but that palette in particular is one of my favorites. So many options in there. But did eyeliner, and now I wanted to show you, my friends, I'm gonna do mascara, and if you are wanting to try a new tubing mascara, get this one called Tunnel Vision. Of course, there will be a link in the description. You can get one or you can get two for a bundled price that, you know, is a little bit cheaper. You can get an eyeliner, whatever you want with it. So look at the collections or bundles first. But I wanna show you this, not just because this is a great mascara, but because I wanna show you when you're doing your bottom lashes. Now, if you have a problem getting your concealer in your mascara, you can wait till later and do the mascara. But I like to do the mascara before concealer, because if I get any dots down here or poke myself with my mascara, then I can clean it up. And, you know, a lot of times when I'm doing mascara, I am in deep thought and going fast. You know, I'm always running behind. I never have enough hours in the day. And sometimes I wind up poking myself in the eye. It's weird how I can sit here most of the time and talk to you guys and make crazy faces. But if I start thinking about something, sometimes I'll poke myself in the eye. I guess maybe I get a little wound up. But like, oh my gosh, this mascara. I love this stuff. I'm serious, give it a whack. You guys, give this a try if you're wanting to try a new mascara. Okay, but what I was gonna tell you about the bottom, I just do real light right across the bottom, and then I avoid it with my concealer. So I'm gonna show you a trick. We're almost to concealer, so hang out a minute. I'm gonna show you a couple different formulas. All right, friends, so like we talked about in the beginning, I have liquid and I have two different creams, but one of the creams is illuminating. Okay, so you may have seen me use all three of these concealers already, but I'm gonna show you the difference in application and, you know, just a couple of quick tips to help you really get that flawless application that I know you're always hoping for. We're always looking for like that one Tarte creaseless concealer, and I'm like, oh please. but you know, we're willing to give anything a try, right? That's why we're so targeted in this market. Everybody wants to know what we are doing, the mature woman with mature skin, because we're like, yeah, I'll try it. I've tried everything. I might as well try that, right? That's how we begin to feel. But let's talk about formula right now. So I want to show you a way to use liquid that's going to be really effective, and it's going to look beautiful if this is your concealer preference. Now remember, there's not a right or wrong. If you like cream better, that's okay. So let's get to it. All right, quick tip with the concealer. Now look, I've got almost a full face of makeup on already, but I'm gonna grab a tiny bit of my eye cream, tiny bit, and just tap it underneath, just to add some moisture. Now, if you prefer an eye serum, because maybe it's more lightweight or thin, go for it. But this is my new favorite eye cream that I think I have used like 3 times a day lately. I like it so much, like I'll freshen up with it halfway through the day. Just because I noticed after the very first night of using it, the next day I felt a difference in the texture under my eyes. I'm not kidding you. Like I instantly was like, wow, that feels different. This one is by Lime Life, a company I just recently partnered with. It's called I Believe. And this was my big reason for falling in love with so many of these products, was this eye cream. But I'm just tapping it under, and I barely put any, but my eye under there is good and moist, and I like to give it some really good bounces under there to help with that lymphatic drainage and a little bit of puffiness. And now I'm gonna go with my liquid concealer. This is that number 1 that's kind of like that pinky undertone concealer I've shown you a few times. I'm gonna just use a nice kind of like fat concealer brush. You can use a fluffy, you can use the flat paddle, but what I want to show you is just a little bit here and here to start. Okay, now don't make a big fat triangle under your eye. It's really going to defeat the purpose. And now just gently, I'm just bringing them together, fluffing it in right here on the inner corner. And now when I'm doing this, the pressure is so light, it's like a feather. It's almost like I'm applying concealer with a feather. And I'm gonna cut that eyeshadow that I put underneath, and tapping and patting and just really working that product really nice. Slice that eyeshadow, give it that lift that I love. And it's so super moist, and this is a beautiful formula because it has niacinamide in it, and it also has caffeine in it. You guys, you know I'm always using a caffeine eye serum when I do concealer, and this concealer actually has caffeine in it. Like holy crackers, right? Just brushing it under there. Don't even try to tell me that's not beautiful, because I know that it is. And if you say it's not, I know you're just being mean, because that's really pretty. All right, now we just blend it in. And see how I'm kind of bringing it down into my blush? Now, there's really not much on here, you guys. This brush is pretty dry. And I'm just tapping it around and lightly feathering, so light, like there's hardly any pressure there. That's really key. But remember, I wanted to show you that back blending that you see me do a lot, and I'm not putting any blush on here. There's already some stuck on this brush from before. And now I'm just gonna back blend. And see how it just melts together so pretty? And then that under eye is so brightened and so beautiful. It's just incredible how that works. And it's a very lightweight formula. I do not have problems with this creasing. Of course, I can see some creases later because it's skin, it will crease. But when I use a more lightweight, like a liquid concealer, even like Tarte's Shape Tape, not the creamy, but the regular, I just don't find the creasing is as bad because I haven't built up so much dang product. You know, we put 4 layers and they were like, oh my God, it creased. I know, because you've got like 4 layers. So if you can get it lightweight, that's gonna be really helpful. Now, if you need to color correct, go ahead and use your orange or your peach color correcting concealer, or just a little color corrector. But remember, that's only to bring balance. Don't try to cover it up with the color corrector. You're just canceling out a certain color, then you still go over it with concealer. So don't try to use your corrector as a full coverage concealer. All right, let's get in with that cream formula now. Now I've got the Tarte cream stick here. So with this one, it's a little bit thicker. I'm gonna go ahead and use the same eye cream, but you can at this point use a serum if you prefer. But this stick is fairly thick. It's a thick stick. So I wanna use like this eye cream. Gosh, you guys, it's like a cloud in there. It like bounces. Some kind of like marshmallow heaven in there. I don't know. Stuff's amazing. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this under my eye, and then we're gonna use that cream concealer, and I'm gonna show you a great way to apply that. All right, here's the Tarte like stick concealer. I got this one over on the TikTok shop, and I think it was one of the first things I ever bought there, and I was like super paranoid. My husband's a massive TikToker, and I was like, are you sure I'm not gonna get ripped off? I don't know why I was feeling weird about TikTok, but I'm gonna take a little bit and scrape it off instead of applying it directly to my skin, because with this being such a thick cream, and you don't have to do it this way, I just find great results when I do. When I use a thick cream, I like to warm it up on the back of my hand like I do so many other products. You can see I've got a whole collection back here. But I'm gonna take a fat, fluffy concealer brush, and I'll take that concealer that I've got warmed up there, and I'm gonna apply it in the same area. This one isn't quite as pink as the other one. This is just it has a little bit of a gold in it, but I still really like it. I don't know that there's one better than the other, honestly. I love them both as far as shade goes. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and slice this way. So I've got that nice pink liquid concealer on one side, and I've got the Tarte Light on the other. And bringing it down the same way. It's almost in that triangle shape, but I didn't apply the product in a triangle. I applied it here and here, and now it's just more of a pat, tap, and feather motion, but don't pull hard either. So super light, okay? Promise me, so super light, because I know you, I know my friends, and we're always in a hurry, and man, don't we yank our eyes like crazy ladies when we're doing our own makeup. All right, back blending. And look, it even looks like I'm going directly under my eye. It's just, there's not a lot of blush on here, so it's not like I'm applying the blush there, but it sure does help blend it up, and they really melt together beautifully. Jeez, that looks really pretty. I really like both. I like both shades. I'm even looking in the regular mirror over there to check the lighting. I like them both. So the question is formula, and was one brush better than the other? No, I don't think it's better than the other. I do know that this cream will crease faster on me though. And that may not be the case for you, especially if you are in a more humid climate. So that's one reason why I prefer the liquid. Unless I'm gonna be, you know, if there's a specific reason, like maybe on stage more coverage, because cream sometimes you can get a little more coverage out of, but almost always you'll catch me using that liquid, because I know this is gonna crease a little bit more, which is not, you know, don't let that freak you out, because you can just take your ring finger and press it back in. Not a big deal, but I know that this one's gonna last me a little bit longer too. Okay, so I get a lot of people asking me why I don't powder under my eyes. And you know, if I'm feeling a little shiny, having a hot flash, or if it's very hot outside, sometimes I'll go back through the middle and maybe sweep under the eyes, but I do not apply a bunch of powder under my eyes, because I find that that actually sets in to my creases. Not for everybody. Some of my clients I can set under their eyes, but they typically do not have crow's feet lines or wrinkles or any type of sagging loss of elasticity under the eyes. So I'm way more careful, and even if I am gonna powder under my eyes, I'm gonna tap or maybe lightly brush, like it's barely touching my skin right here. I do not wanna pull and unsettle that product and get it to go like back into those creases, you know, when that rubber band comes back. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of lip liner and lipstick. I'll be right back. All right, I am liking it. I don't think I need to go back and fix anything. I'm gonna do a little Morphe Continuous Mist setting spray. I like that one because it's pretty fine mist, so it won't blow your makeup off your face. I also like that Laura Geller one for the same reason. Feels so good. Could be there all day, doing nothing but fanning my dang face. All right, so I've got this cute little duster, I think you would call it, kimono. I don't really know what you would call it, and it's very weird. I got it at Dillard's, and it's stretchy. So I think maybe you could wear it with a bathing suit if you wanted to. You could wear it with an evening gown if you wanted to, but of course, you know, it's got bling on it. Check it out. Yeah, so you can wear it with just about anything. Really like it, especially the whole stretchy thing. It's, you know, I'm always looking for things that are stretchy. All right, so I'm gonna let my hair down. Had it up like that to get a little extra volume in it while I was doing my makeup. Only, I don't know if I'm gonna get some extra volume because I know for a fact I overdid it with the leave-in conditioner. Do you guys do that too? And, you know, so excited to get in here and do this one for you. I had music on, of course, while I was setting up, getting ready, and I was listening to Look Out Weekend, 'cause here I come. And it's Monday. So, you know, I'm just early, that's all. I like to plan for things. I'm an in advance kind of girl, you know, just on Monday, I'm letting you know, weekend, you better watch out. 'Cause here I come. Yeah, the big curls are not gonna hold too well because of that conditioner snafu, but whatever. All right, what do you guys think? Now, let's check out the concealer. I'm coming close for you. Both look good. This was the pinky side. This one was a little more gold. I'm okay with either shade. And like I said, I can tell this one's gonna crease, a little bit thicker. This one's nice and dry, but not in a crusty way. You know, we don't like the crusty dry. We just like nice and dried down so that we know it's gonna last and not crease. So that would be my suggestion, is that liquid one. But again, if you like cream, get it, girl, get it. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today on my channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I wanna give a big fat thank you to my members over in my members only area that you can join for as little as $2.99 a month. And I wanna give a big fat shout out to my beauty bestie, Jen. We had a great call today. So part of my Beauty Besties level 3 is we get to have some Zoom calls a couple times a month and kind of shoot the breeze, talk about makeup. And today we had a great time drinking coffee and talking about Jesus and all kinds of stuff. So you guys check out the members area, and I will see you next time here on my channel. I hope you know that I love and appreciate you. Bye, everyone.